Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by because today we are reviewing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy palette. This is the first time I've ever experienced anything Amrezy and ABH. I didn't get to get in on the first palette, I didn't get to get in on the highlighter, so this is my Amrezy ABH moment. So if you want to experience this ABH Amrezy moment with me and see this palette and see a detailed review with a look, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Okay guys, I'm so excited because this, unlike the other Anastasia palettes, is a 16 pan palette. And typically the Anastasia palettes, as you can see here, are 14 pan palettes, not 16. But we're not here to talk about the 14 pan palettes and the Jackie Aina ABH collaboration. We're here to talk about the 16 pan Amrezy and ABH collaboration. So first things first, before I actually open the palette and show you what it looks like, let me tell you a little bit about it. This is officially dubbed the Amrezy palette. It is $49 and I got it from Anastasia's website. And the description from that website is, Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy boasts 16 all new all Amrezy shades, so you can achieve anything from your go-to daytime eye makeup looks to ultra glamorous evening eyes. Recreate every Amrezy makeup look you love with this versatile palette, featuring everything from classic nude eyeshadows and playful rosy tones to seductive smoky hues, from mattes and metallics to our most insanely pigmented glitter finish yet. And there's also a quote from Amrezy that says, Amrezy shares her inspiration. I wanted to make a palette that had every shade you would need for any mood, any occasion. It comes with your everyday neutrals, your pinks for when you're feeling flirty, and your smoky shades to kick things up a notch. This one palette is my new go-to for creating any look I can dream up. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the outside of the unit carton, then the palette, then we're gonna swatch the shades, because I need to see this swatched. The online pictures of this look beautiful. Some might say it looks sort of basic. Some are also saying that it looks like a combination of a couple of other palettes, like the Modern Renaissance and the Soft Glam. I'm not sure. Let's find out. Wow, that is beautiful. Ooh. And of course, all these little tiny glitter particles are coming off on me. I'm just trying to show you what the palette looks like, but it's all coming off. You know, it would have been cool if they would have made the brush this kind of texture and finish. That would have been really neat. This palette is stunning. These shimmer shades look like, no, these glitter shades look like nothing I've ever seen before. I'm really excited. Okay, let's swatch this. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in and we're gonna get a better close-up on my arm so we can see all of the swatches. Our first shade is called Wasted. And it's not like wasted like wasteful, it's wasted like your waist is thick. Wasted. Next is Barb. Oh, this shade makes my heart happy. Wow. Then the shade Litty. Ooh. The shade Cupcake. Then the shade Dragon, Leo, Gemini, and Georgina. Then the shade Reezy. Wow, that made a statement. The shade Anastasia. The shade Nuyaka. Man, that is pressed really firmly. And then the shade OG. Then we have the shade Simsa. The shade 1988. The shade BK. Then the shade Yugo. Okay, and that is all the shades swatched from the Anastasia Beverly Hills X Amrezy eyeshadow palette. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And you know I gotta give you a video close-up of the swatches. Especially with this palette, you have got to see these shades close up. Oh, look at that beautifulness on my arm. And those were okay. That one wasn't the greatest, sorry. But those. Now that swatches are done, I can definitely say that I'm very happy with this palette so far. I really liked those swatches. I really liked how shimmery the shimmers were and how foiled they looked, but those glitters are not what I expected. A, they came off really easily with a makeup wipe and a paper towel. I didn't have to dig at my skin to get it off. And B, they swatched beautifully. They of course had to be built up like a normal typical glitter would for a swatch, but they still built up beautifully. The mattes were kinda so-so on the swatch, but I don't think swatches mean anything for the performance of a shadow. I just think they show the color story on an arm instead of laid out in the palette like the company wants you to see. So they're pretty much useless. I just like to do it because it's really fun. I just like to do it because on camera, it's a lot easier for you guys to see what shades the palette have in it. On my arm, close up, broken out of the color story that the manufacturer makes the palette with. Now, one thing that kind of confused me a little bit is the layout of a couple of them. For example, the shade Wasted up here, it is like a sequin shade, like how Tati Beauty named her shades sequin shades. I don't know if that's what they're actually called, but it's essentially like a matte with some glitter pieces in it. And then the rest of these are either metallic shimmer or glitter. Then these two are metallic or shimmer, and then the rest of these are matte. I don't really understand that placement, I guess, unless it's strictly just light to dark, in which case maybe then I understand it. I just thought of that whenever I was swatching them and it didn't make sense to me, so thought I'd voice it. Anyway, enough of my babbling about the layout of the palette. Let's go ahead and put these shadows on my eyes. I'm gonna use my ABH eye primer to prime my lids because it seems appropriate. I would assume that a company is going to make their eyeshadows perform the best with their own eyeshadow primer. One would guess that. That was satisfying. Now, something I just thought about that I want to show you guys before I do go in with these shadows is a lot of people were comparing this palette to the Modern Renaissance and the Soft Glam. I don't have the Modern Renaissance palette, but I do have the Soft Glam palette, and I just wanted to show you what these palettes look like beside each other so that you can kind of compare for yourself. I do see a couple of similarities. This one, of course, is the bigger one is, of course, the Amrezy palette. The only similarities I do actually see, though, are sort of the matte brown, like the kind of lighter brown shades. Those are kind of the same, but it makes sense because they are very neutral glam type tones, and that's the ones that I can see that are kind of duplicated in this palette. And I think whenever it comes to Modern Renaissance, the ones that would be sort of duplicated or looking the same, I suppose, in that palette would be more of the rosy tone shades, because if I remember correctly, Modern Renaissance does have a few rosier type tones to it. I'll go ahead and insert a picture right here just so you can see what the Modern Renaissance looks like, so you can compare yourself and just be the judge, because I've heard quite a few people say that if you have the Modern Renaissance or the Soft Glam palette that you might not need this palette. I don't have Modern Renaissance though, so I'm happy with it so far. With the color selection, I just don't feel like I'm duplicating something that I have from Anastasia already. I do feel like I'm getting a new palette out of this. I'm actually gonna start by using this big giant Morphe brush. I couldn't even tell you what it is. It came in the Electric Nights Holiday Morphe collection, but I'm gonna go into the shade Wasted and just set my lid with it. It looks like a very pretty base that I could use, and I'm interested to see how it performs on the eye. Now this shade is just a really, really light pinky peach type shade with a little bit of sparkle in it, so I don't think it's gonna do a whole lot. I was honestly just kind of curious if I was gonna be able to see those little sparkles anywhere, or if they would just disappear like most sequin shades that I see. Well, for me, all that really did was give me a slight pink tint to my crease, because that's where I put it. I don't really see any sparkle or shimmer. I feel like for my skin tone, this shade is gonna be more of like a, kind of like a blending shade, what I would use to blend out deeper tones, but it's definitely giving me a nice rosy base to start with, and I can't say I'm not liking that. Now I want to see if I can build on top of that. So I'm going to use the Morphe M513 Fluffy Blending Brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Sesma. Of course I go into the purple. You know I have to go into the purple. That's just who I am, you know? I can't help it. Wow, that was very pigmented very quickly. Jeez, that even went on top of another shadow, albeit a very light dusting of shadow, but still, it was on top of another shadow. I think perhaps putting the Wasted shade down first almost is pulling this a little bit further than it would have gone putting it on a tacky base, because I feel like the shade is just moving everywhere. The moment I'm pushing it to another place, it's moving right there for me, which is nice, just it wasn't expected, that's all. And I'm gonna try and wing this out just a little bit, just to give me a little bit of definition and some pullback to the eye, because I want to be glammy. I know we just started, but so far I'm not disappointed, not one bit. Not a single hitch in the performance of the purple, which is hard to do with the purple. I applaud you, Norvina. I applaud you. And Amrezy, I'm sure you had something to do with it. And now with an even smaller fluffy blending brush, this is a little bit tinier. I'm gonna go into the shade Juno and deepen this up just a tad right in the crease. Wow. This Juno shade is the perfect shade to blend out Simsa. It's turning that brighter, more, I guess, lavendery toned purple into more of an eggplant in the crease, and I'm kind of living for it. Okay. I think that is deepened about as much as I want it to be deepened at this moment in time. So at this point, you guys know the drill. Now I'm gonna go back in with the Morphe M513 back into the shade Simsa and just blend out the edges of the shade Juno. And the rest of this is probably just gonna be me going back and forth in between these shades, just getting that perfect blend between the two that I really, really like. For those of you that are wondering, that's half the struggle with eyeshadow blending, is blending the eyeshadow. Imagine that. Funny, huh? I also think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of Simsa and I'm going to apply that to my lid just on the outer and inner corners, just to build up a little bit of that color right here and right here. See, what you guys couldn't see is I just sat here for about 10 minutes just seriously thinking about what I was gonna do, because you know me by now, I had no clue. I'll make this up as I go. But okay, so we have the shade Simsa built up on the outer and inner corners. Then I'm also gonna do the same thing with the little bitty blending brush and the shade Juno, but even on the further outer and inner corners. I feel like I should be using a smaller brush for this spot. We'll try it. Worst case, I mess it all up and have to start all over. Oh yeah, I didn't. I can just pack it right in that tiny little spot. Okay. Perfect. So we have that eggplant shade on the inner corner and the outer corner, and we have Simsa closer to the center of the lid. And now I'm going to cut my crease in a halo type fashion. So not cutting it from the center, I'm just gonna start by cutting it right in the center. Not the inner corner, but the center of my lid, if that makes a little bit more sense. And I'm going to be using my Morphe M167 brush, and let's see if I can do this. Okay, that brush is just a little bit too big for what I'm trying to do with it. Instead, I'm actually gonna use this Morphe tapered cut crease brush, I guess is what you might call it. I don't really know what you would call it. Whatever you call it, I'm gonna use it. And I'm just going to continue to cut out that crease, but it's gonna help me get a little bit more precise because that other brush is perfect for a full cut crease starting at the inner corner, but I'm not doing that this time. And this brush is sharper, and I need sharper. Okay, so now that that has been cut, finally, I'm gonna go in with this other Morphe fluffy brush, but it's a flat packing fluffy brush. And I'm gonna start with the shade Cupcake. And with this, I'm gonna start packing it on the outer edges of where I cut the crease. With Cupcake on the outer and inner edges of the cut crease, that leaves me with filling the middle. And for the middle, I'm gonna take this teeny tiny packing brush and go into the shade Barb. I've been wanting to go into this shade since the very beginning, but I was saving the best for last. So I'm just gonna start packing this right on that middle section that has no pigment on it. Oh wow, it's so cool. It's like teal and blue and green, but it's not. It's still like purple. I love this so much. So much. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more of Simsa and just barely pat it right on these outer edges once more, just to make sure the blend is beautiful, that I didn't lose my purple, because I don't want to lose my purple. Oh, she's gorgeous as ever. Now, I think the only other thing I want to do is add a wing to this, and I'm gonna use my Anastasia liquid liner. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, do the other eye, get a wing on both eyes, and once I do that, I'll be right back. We are now officially done with liner. Now, I did go ahead and actually go over the liner with the Anastasia number 12 brush. It's the brow brush, essentially. Has a spoolie on one side and an angled flat brush on the other, and I used the shade BK and just set my liner. I kind of use it to finesse any bumps that I might have in the liner, just so I can make the line super sharp, crisp, and straight. But that's what I did, and the liner is done, and the top of the eye look is done. I think this looks really pretty. I really like the crease and the cut on the lid. I think it just looks really nice. I think it's really cool. And this is the first time that I've actually done like a somewhat decent halo eye, and that makes me very happy. Anyway, this is so far obviously one of a couple of looks that you could do. I see the directions you can go with the shimmer shades being very versatile. You could go pink, purple, gold, blue, brown, neutral. The mattes though are a little bit different of a story. You have purple and brown. But that's okay, because I'm still happy with this look either way. So what I need to do, I don't know why I didn't do this while I was gone off of camera already, but I need to go ahead and finish off my face makeup so that we can do the lower lash line. So give me a second to finish off all of my complexion products, foundation, concealer, bronzer, contour, the whole shebang. And once I do that, I'll be right back one more time. So I'll see you in just a second. And we are back. Face is done, as you can tell, and we are now to the point of finishing off the lower lash line so that we can finish off the eyes and so that I can give my final thoughts on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy palette for the lower lash line. What I think I'm gonna do is still roll with the whole monochromania that I've been doing. Is there a past tense of monochromatic? Monochromania sounds fun though. I'm gonna continue with the monochromania, and I'm first going to use the Morphe M562, and I'm gonna go back into the shade Simsa, and this is gonna be the first shade on my lower lash line. Probably shouldn't have used this brush. I forgot how fluffy it was. I wanted something that could kind of get a little bit tighter of a line, but we're here. We're doing what we're doing already, so we're just gonna roll with it and make it purple. You know, that's actually cute. I'm not mad. Not mad at all. Next, gonna take this Luxie 209 large shader brush, but this time I'm gonna go into the shade 1988. It's the deep brown shade. And I'm gonna try and stick with only the outer corner with this shade and use it to smoke out Simsa, but only out here. I just didn't want it to be completely brown, but I still wanted to incorporate some of that purple. So now that I accidentally made the brown shade go way too far down and I look like I have raccoon eyes and I'm tired, I'm gonna go back in with a more VM562 and back into the shade Simsa and kind of just bring that purple back into the brown and try to smoke it upward so that maybe I can make it not look so raccoon eye. Maybe it still will. Who knows? Yeah, it still does. That's okay though. Raccoon eyes are a thing too. Well, that's such a pretty smoky purpley tone. I really like that. I wish I wouldn't have made it so big though. Okay, that is perfect. Now I want to take this teeny tiny little detail brush, I guess. I don't really know what it is, but I'm gonna go back into the shade Barb. That's the same shade that I used down the center of my halo eye. And I'm gonna put that shade right on the inner corner of the lower lash line. I just want it to be glowy. Actually, I'm also gonna spray my brush just a little bit. It actually wasn't having a problem building up. It was having a problem sticking. I would apply it and it kept kind of fluffing off the glitter everywhere or the shimmer that's in the shade. Yeah, there we go. Now it's actually laying down and then sticking down. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but in person, that is so cute. Okay, now gonna take this little bitty flat brush. It's a Morphe M326. And I'm gonna get the shade Anastasia and I'm gonna put her on my brow bone, I think. Maybe, I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna try it and see. Ooh, I don't know if that was the right decision. Oh well, what's done is done. You know, it's not so bad. It's just very, I don't know, almost orangey pink, if that makes sense. It's pretty though, it's cute. Like, it's okay with the look. Actually, no, you know what? The more I look at it, the more I'm happy that I put it there. It almost kind of adds this perfect touch to all of this purple. Oh, wow. And kind of brings just a little bit of orange into it. But it's not orange, it's pink. It's like a pinky melon tangerine orange. Either way, it's really pretty. And that finalizes the eye look completely. So now I'm going to curl my lashes, plop on some mascara, and throw in a liner, and I'll be right back. And here we are with the final look. So, what do you guys think? Can I tell you a secret? I kind of love it. I know that it's purple and pink, and it's kind of like one of my favorite type looks with all of those pinky purple type tones, but there is just something special about the shimmers in this palette, especially the shade Barb. It is so versatile. Okay, look at my lids. That center shade that runs down the middle, like it's purple, but it's not purple, and it's just so beautiful. It's so different than anything I've ever seen. I have no shade like this in my collection. Not to mention the two glitters that are in here are fire. I don't think that I'm anywhere near done using this palette or creating looks with this palette because, could you imagine just with those shades that I swatched even, creating some type of deep, neutrally smoked out type crease and then popping that golden glitter on top of the lid with that, or even the yellowy golden glitter. Either one of them really, or any of those brown shimmers. This purple crease would have even looked good with the pink, the Reezy shade topped over the lid. There's just so many more possibilities I see with this, and it can make really great looks. Now granted, the matte shades aren't versatile. You're gonna get purple or brown for your crease. I mean, you can get black and smoke it out, but no matter what you do, it's gonna be brown or purple. So that might be kind of a downside, but a lot of the time whenever you're working with really strong glitters or metallics, it's kind of nice to have a neutral base to build on anyway, because you can take a neutral base and put pretty much anything on top of it and it's gonna work usually. So in that aspect, I have respect for this palette because it can do that. This is, in my opinion, a very specific type of palette whenever it comes to your base. But I don't think that this is just a neutral boring palette, because it does offer those really intense metallics and those really bright pops. And I really like it. I'm gonna give this a for sure 110% definite recommend. I think this is a really fun palette. I think that it has a lot of workability and versatility, and I'm happy that I have it. Let me know what you guys think though. Do you like it? Have you seen it in person? Have you swatched any of the shades yet? Do you have an idea of what it's like? Or by this video, do you now have an idea what it's like? Are you interested? Would you get it? If you didn't, would you now? Or if you were, are you not now? Did I make it really bad for you? Leave me a comment down below if you want to. Just let me know what you think. I appreciate it, and I always enjoy a healthy conversation, and I always enjoy a nice conversation in the comments. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you haven't yet, which I know that about 42% of you haven't, it would be awesome if you wanted to subscribe to my channel, because, I mean, it's really mean if you don't. If you like this video, you should. Anyway, guys, if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this, and that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.